So, it was an interesting race, the one in Silverstone, huh? The safety car made it more interesting, but I think nobody expected the McLaren to be there. Not even themselves. Looks like the car is good, especially in high-speed corner racetracks and straight lines. We saw it in Austria, and Silverstone looks like the confirmation of the McLaren going fast. We also saw other things, such as the Aston Martin not getting very well adapted to racetracks with high-speed corners. Once again, Austria and Silverstone. So looks like their car is much more suitable to slow speed corners, hairpins, whatever. So anyway, let's go with the evaluation of what I thought was the performance of each driver and each team. I will start with Red Bull, obviously. I think they have a 9. I mean, they did a very good weekend. Not to say perfect, thanks to one of the drivers, but whatever happened on the racetrack, they kind of covered it well. They have the fast driver, perhaps the fastest, we don't know. They have the best car and is adapting to every single racetrack, every single condition, it doesn't matter. Verstappen got overtaken by Norris on the start, and he was patient, and when he had the DRS, he overtook him and he pulled away. There was the safety car, they made the right call, they put the soft tire, and still, in one lap, he put 2 seconds over Norris. I give him a 10 once again, like in Austria, because he made no mistakes this weekend. He made the pole position, he was calm, he was calculating, he knows he has the fastest car, so no risks necessary to remain in the racetrack. Unlike the other driver, I was generous with Perez when he was recovering last week in Austria, but this weekend I think, and I think it's not gonna be just me thinking that Perez has a problem. Also in Red Bull, they must be wearing thin in patience, if I am understood what I mean. Once again out, not in Q2 but in Q1, he made the mistake of going out too soon to the track, and he, according to what he said, his tires were very, very cold, as well as the brakes. Is this a team mistake, or is it his mistake? What can I say? I mean, all the other drivers didn't have this problem. He was the first one crossing the line in the Q1 when the timer was running thin. I mean, it's a rookie mistake what they did or what he did. The track was evolving fast, and he made this mistake. Rookie mistake, unacceptable at this level with this car. Of course, later on the race, he was overtaking left and right and center, right? But he has the fastest car on the race, so it is kind of expected. So yeah, Ferrari, I will give them a 7 because they qualified well and they were kind of handling the situation okay until the safety car came in and kind of destroyed their race. Leclerc was in front of Carlos Sainz once again. He took a riskier strategy of going to 2 stops. I don't know if that was gonna work well when everybody else was going for just a 1-stop strategy. So I don't know. It was gonna be a hard race for Leclerc if they were going for a 2-stop strategy, which was the case. And Carlos Sainz, what can I say? Behind his teammate all the weekend, and then he had the hard tire, of course, complaining on the radio about it. And then, unlike, if you remember a little bit well, in 2022, the roles were reversed. It was Leclerc the one on the racetrack with the hard tire, and then Carlos Sainz was sent to the pits to put the good tire. And this year it was the other way around. And we see the difference, right? Leclerc was able to hold Hamilton and Perez and other fast cars for a very long time with a hard tire, and Carlos Sainz was overtaken by 3 cars in 3 corners with that same tire. What can I say? I mean, difference in driver quality, right? Not especially good weekend for Carlos Sainz. Of course, he will be blaming it on this and that, but yeah, I think now that the car is starting to behave more predictably, let's say, in their own words, we can see that Leclerc is being faster once again. Mercedes, kind of a discreet qualifying, but on the race, we can see where George Russell and Hamilton were at the end of the race. Looks like the race pace was better than the qualifying pace. Maybe the setup of the car was better for the race, I don't know. But it was a good race for both of them, and they took advantage of the safety car to try to get some points and a podium home. I think they thought they could hunt the McLarens down with when they had a hard tire, and both Mercedes had the soft tire. But yeah, I give Hamilton 8 because of the race. He made a mistake in the first lap, but then he recovered quite well. He had a consistent pace. He overtook Sainz and he was going for it. And George Russell, I think he did very good with the soft tire at the beginning and was handling the race in a very intelligent way, saving the soft tire as long as he could, like the other people were in the mediums, and got the advantage of the safety car. So third and fifth, if I'm not mistaken, good race for Mercedes in my own opinion. Aston Martin 5. From being the revelation of the season to being kind of like the disappointment right now. I think everybody was expecting them to be in the podium all the time, and now they realized that in high-speed racetracks the car doesn't handle very well. It is a fast car in the straight lines, but not in the high-speed corners. So we will see them in racetracks perhaps such as Suzuka, for example, where they have a lot of high-speed stuff, or in Austin or whatever, they will suffer a little bit. Alonso did a kind of a discreet race. He was not here or there. He got overtaken by the people that could overtake him. Pierre Gasly, for example, you can see the Alpine does not have a lot of straight line speed, so he was not able to overtake him, even with the DRS. So kind of a discreet race. He took advantage of the safety car as well, so I will give him a 5. And Lance Stroll, I mean, what can we say about this driver? He keeps disappointing weekend in and weekend out. Bad qualifying, bad race. He kicked Pierre Gasly out of the race and only got a 5-second penalty for that. So can this open a door to just getting more physical contact during the races? I don't know. I mean, if you're only gonna get a 5-second penalty for kicking a rival out of the race, it's what there is. Alpine 4. I'm giving them a 4 because looks like they are staying behind. They have been overtaken by McLaren. They are not overtaking Aston Martin. For being a construction team is not a very good result. But the reliability in Ocon, and then the thing with Gasly, I mean, Gasly was doing a very good race, that's why I give him a 7. And Ocon, well, we don't know because he got out of the race kind of quick, but his weekend was not being the best. Out qualified by Gasly for the qualifying and for the race. And Gasly was doing well until he reached Fernando Alonso and he was not able to overtake him anymore. So perhaps with the safety car, he could have done something. I don't know. Again, Lance Stroll took him out, and nothing was severely done, let's say, right? On the other hand, Gasly was pushing Stroll out of the racetrack as well, so he could have gotten a penalty about it as well. In theory, you should leave space for the other car, and Gasly was not doing that, so. But we have seen in all the many races that nobody is doing that anyway. They just push the driver out of the track and that's it. And we get to the best news so far. The McLaren is back, at least in these kind of racetracks with high-speed corners and straight line speed. Looks like the Spec B is working, and be careful because they have more stuff coming, big upgrades. They say in August perhaps there will be another one. And like in words of Lewis Hamilton, that car is a rocket ship. It was very fast on the straight lines. Looks like they have still some tire management problems, but that's very good news for them for qualifying, same like Ferrari. And on the race, they just have to manage. They did a very good race, smart race from the thing, not letting Piastri and Norris fight to lose time. They just conserved positions. They were quick until the safety car came in, and Piastri perhaps lost some time there. They put a hard tire, which looked like was going to be the wrong decision, but after some laps, looks like it was the correct decision as the soft tires started to wear. The hard tires of the McLarens actually paid off. So very good race, very good qualifying, very good weekend for both of the drivers and for the whole team in general. Alfa Romeo, I don't know what to say about this team this season, honestly. They are failing, they are falling, they are falling hard. They are not the worst team because Alpha Tauri is still there, but kind of. It looks like something like Haas, for example. Last season they were okay, this season they are kind of in the middle of nowhere, even though Haas has Nico Hülkenberg who can qualify in Q3s. Alfa Romeo doesn't. Valtteri Bottas had a difficult qualifying when they had no fuel in the car, so he was out. And Zhou Guanyu was out-qualified by Valtteri Bottas on a difficult weekend. Last season he had a good qualifying here. This season had a difficult race. Bottas was able to recover some positions, perhaps with a safety car, but still difficult race. And I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a difficult season for them, seeing where they were last season and where they are gonna be this season right now. The Haas. Kevin Magnussen was the big surprise last season. This season is a big disappointment. I don't know what is happening with him with the car, but something is wrong when he cannot even be close to Nico Hülkenberg. Of course, Nico Hülkenberg is a super talent, but I mean, he should at least be somewhere there, and he's not. He had a bad luck with the car, and Nico Hülkenberg had that early pit stop to do, which destroyed his whole strategy and race, but still had a good qualifying. So similar like Alfa Romeo, looks like Haas is not in the strongest position now. They are somewhere in the mid-pack, front some races, in the middle some other races. So let's see if they are relying a little bit on Ferrari for the parts or not. Alfa Tauri, I mean, nothing much to say. Bad qualifying, bad race, bad team. I think they're just waiting for the next season to come, and they can just have this Red Bull B spec, and perhaps instead of Nick De Vries have Daniel Ricciardo there, or let's see who they put in the second car. But yeah, let's see what's going to happen with this team to that. And Albon and Williams in general, looking where Logan Sargent finished, I think it's a very good news. Looks like this car, not just in like big straight line speed racetracks, but in racetracks with high speed corners as well, it works. They are slowly putting this and that here and there. It's not the most sophisticated car, but still, with a simple design, looks like the car works, not just in straight lines, but also in high speed corners. Both of them, they were very, very close. Albon was in P7 at the end of the race. Logan Sargent was P11. They were very good at qualifying as well in difficult conditions. And Albon was actually fighting with all those Ferraris and stuff to get more points. So I think that they can be very satisfied where they started last season, this season, and where they are right now. At least in this kind of racetracks. Austria, Great Britain, Silverstone, let's see. I think it's very good news that they are going forward. I think everybody who loves F1 is very happy to see Williams in the front. And the stewards, I will give them a 6. Because, well, the track limit things, it's okay, but what I didn't like is the penalty for Lance Stroll, for example. 5 seconds for kicking somebody out of the race. From outside of the racetrack. It should be more severe, like a stop and go or something like this. You cannot just kick somebody out and have a 5-second penalty, just because it's not, right? That on one hand. The other hand, Gasly was pushing Lance Stroll out all the time out of the racetrack. In theory, you are not allowed to do that, and they didn't say anything. Of course, they didn't force Stroll to give the position back to Gasly at some point of the race, right? But still, like, they are not consistent with rules. They are not consistent with what they said at the beginning of the season, of how things were gonna work. So, like, the whole weekend they were okay more or less, but this little detail I didn't like. So, do you agree? Do you not agree? If you have any different opinions, you can leave it in the comments. And see you in the next section.